So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all sure it's all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one, I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a dick theater. I've imagined your family.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime. I do that.
We're not sluts.
We just love love. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
This is Mrs. Adam.
And this is Mr. Adam. Sorta.
Yeah, Mr. Adam's a little out of it at the moment. We're
Yeah.
going to see if we can reel him back in.
Brain not functioning. It's Sunday. I don't want to go to work
Yeah.
tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
Really, the only day I'm looking forward to is Friday night.
Yeah. Do you know what we're talking about?
I have no idea.
It's funny.
I realized that we just
Completely not
discussed it.
paying attention.
We just discussed it like, I don't know, it feels like forever ago, but it was probably like a couple of
Yeah.
minutes.
We're going to talk about our last Pendulum party.
Oh, yeah, woohoo. That was fun.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it was the second Pendulum party that we've had.
Yes.
And this is a time where, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, who's not a constant listener, the Pendulum Party is one that we hold at the local swingers club at our secret spot. And it is a time for both couples to come, because couples are always welcome there, of course, but also for single men and single females to come and be able to get to know one another, play a little bit. And it's just a safe, fun time. And because normally, you know, girls are allowed at the swingers club, single females are, and girl play is generally accepted by society at large, but guy on guy play is not always. So this gives a chance for boys to play too.
Wah, wah. Yeah. We've talked about it before, how there's that double standard between guys playing and ladies playing. We've gone into great detail on that, and I'm sure we'll go into it in greater detail in the future on that. But that's not what today's about.
No. Because it also, you know, some would say, well, the guys have the saunas that they can go to. But it's still, to me, there's something different to be in that mixed gender environment and be able to do that.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's something nice about having guys there and girls there that I can play with.
Well, and I was going to say, especially if you're a bisexual in a relationship, that your partner can also be there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like Mr. Adam can go to the sauna, but I can't go. So it's not like I can watch or anything.
We're going to have to Mulan you.
I know. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to take some work, but we can do it.
Let's get down to business. Okay, I'm better. Sorry. I am my own target audience. I think I'm hilarious. So yeah, we put a lot of effort into the Pendulum Party, and I think it paid off.
Yeah.
This one was good. I'm trying to remember what we wore.
That is
Clearly it wasn't important.
good
because
question. I'm pretty sure. I think I had the ivory honey Burdette outfit.
Yes, you did. That's right.
Yes, I had that.
And I don't know what I wore, but it came off pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd have to look back at photos and see what you wore. But this one was really good. We had ultimately fewer people than the first one. The first one, I think we had, 71, 72 people, something like that?
Yeah, something around that.
Yeah.
I
And
think we stuck at the number 69 because I like the number 69.
Okay, so 69 people. Well, this time we had 57 people. So it was a few less, but it was still a really good crowd. And it was a fun crowd, I feel like. But the other difference in this one was that we had more singles than the last time. So this time we had...
Both ladies and guys.
Yes, especially ladies, which was awesome. But yeah, so this time we had, not including ourselves and Lawrence and Jess and staff and whatnot, we had 18 couples. There were 10 single females and 5 single males. So it was really great that there were a lot more single ladies. I know some really beautiful single ladies came.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was hoping to get around to a few more of them than I did, but that's okay. There'll be another party at some point. Hopefully
right.
they'll come back.
We either need to make these nights like more like long weekends.
Yeah.
We'll do a pendulum getaway.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We'll do a resort takeover for a weekend. Check in on a Friday night and check out on a Sunday. That actually does sound like fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah. We'll have to work on
Future
this.
plans.
Yeah.
By the by's pendulum weekend. We swing all weekend long.
Yes. But yeah, it was really good. So even though, like I said, we had fewer people, it was the same, really great vibe. Everybody was positive and there to have a good time. And I feel like there was a lot of mingling amongst people. We saw a lot of play and, again, people just chatting and getting to know one another and just, how it normally goes at the club. But we put the glory hole up again.
Yes.
Like we did the first time.
Yes.
I love the glory hole.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us about the glory hole, Mr.
Sure.
Adam?
Yeah, I was just trying to think. Was there anything like big happened before we went up and used the glory hole? Because I know we stand guard and greet everybody as they come in. And I will say we had so the party started before we get to the glory hole. The party started at 7:30 or 8.
7:30, I believe. I don't know. Somewhere
I don't remember.
in there.
Let's say it starts at 8. Anyway, and we had our first person to show up is one of the single guys.
Yes.
And I think he showed up at 7:59, like right as the clock turned, because we were looking at our watch and going, okay, the party's going to start like now. And about that time, the doorbell goes off and we're like, oh, we've got our first people, woo! And it was a single guy, which was great because we invited him in. He had never been to the club before,
Right.
and so we took him on I think I took him on the tour. I was doing a lot of the tours that night just because I was hopped up on goofballs. Read excitement. And I was like just kind of bubbly with excitement. So I took him on the tour and I recognized him immediately because all of the single guys have to be, we pre-vet them. One of the first things that is asked once they send their email is, can you send us some pictures, describe yourself a little bit, and do you self-identify as bi-curious, bisexual.
Right.
And
which is the main thing there. Yeah.
And so Lawrence sends me the emails and says, is this one okay? Is this one okay? Is this one okay? And when I got this one's picture, I was like, I like this guy. He's cute. Like, he's a definite yes. And then he was the first one that came in. And so I took him on the tour. And he was really nice. And I know I talked to him for a while. I think you talked to him for a while.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's really nice that he did get there early, or like right on time, because not most people don't. And so it gave us a chance to kind of chat with him a little bit before it got super busy.
Yeah.
So I think that was really nice. And I know we were both enjoyed talking to him a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. And
Yeah.
subsequently we've continued conversations with him and we've met him for drinks. And yeah, he's a nice guy. I like him a lot. But yeah, so I did a few tours for folks. I like doing that. I think taking people around for the first time is fun because they've got that nervous excitement and I've got my typical giddy excitement and it tends to mix pretty well.
You should be the official OSS tour guide.
I am the official. I need to be like an OSS docent. But yeah, that was fun. I'm trying to think if it's kind of funny because it all ends up being a blur for me because I'm ultimately really excited and really nervous and stressed out about it. But at one point, Mrs. Rogers came up to us and the three of us were talking and we were like, I think she had said she'd always wanted to be in a glory hole, but had never been in a glory hole.
Right.
And we were like, all right, cool. Well, let's the three of us go up there. So she, Mrs. Adam and I went into the glory hole on the receiving end.
So there were all three of us behind the curtain on the glory hole.
Two ladies and a fella. And it was one of those, all right, guys, step right up.
And it was so much fun because we would take turns and sometimes we would take turns on the same cock. And sometimes, depending on how long the person stayed, it might just be one person on whoever's cock. But we just kind of switched off, and there was no real rhyme or reason. It was just if you saw something you wanted, or if you needed a break,
or if your knees or back started hurting.
Yeah. But it was really good. We stayed up there for, I feel like, a good little while.
I would say we were in there for at least 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I think there were six or seven guys
that came up.
Yeah. And one lady.
Yes.
which was awesome. Yeah, ladies typically have trouble because you don't have something that you can stick through the hole. But you know what? We made it work. We did our damnedest. We made it work. But it was a lot of fun, you know, and it is now you know why I like the glory holes.
I know.
You're in there, and it's just like sometimes it's like a what's the word? Assembly line.
Yeah.
It's like an assembly line. And we had that issue a couple of times where, you know, one of us would stop and another person getting ready to go. And right as you're about to pounce, the cock goes out of the hole.
Yeah.
And at one point, Mrs. Rogers goes, "Oh."
And I know there was one at least that we tag teamed a little in that I think it was you that was going down on the person. And then I went around for the balls from the underside. So it is fun to kind of, and I like it. It's fun to be back there, you know, by myself, but I actually really like it when there's somebody else to kind of, that you get more playfulness out of it.
Yeah. And there was very much.
It's not just there to get the job done. You're there just to play and have fun.
You know, and it's funny too, because when one person's going down on somebody, the other two are kind of talking or it's just great. Like, oh, let's talk for a bit. You know, what do you think of that one? And it's like, wow, my jaws are sore, or, you know, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And of course we have the one person who sticks his cock in, and I immediately start going down on him. Mm-hmm. And then, so he puts his hand in through the hole because he can't see. So he puts his hand in through the hole, and as soon as he touches...
Around the side of the curtain.
Yeah. Well, no, through the hole.
Oh, was it through the hole?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it was through the hole.
Okay, I missed that part.
And felt the scruff on my cheek, and the second he did, it was like the Roadrunner used to do, like poof, and it was just a cloud version. So that for the second there was a cloud cock in the hole, and then it just sort of dissipated into nothing. And that that cracks me up in a lot of ways. But one of the ways that really sort of strikes me as funny is I think of what Cooper S. Beckett says. It's like, you know, just because you try something doesn't mean it's going to change who you are fundamentally.
Right.
You are still fundamentally the same person. You can not like it, and that's fine. But when you're getting oral from somebody,
if it feels good, does it matter?
Good, why does it matter if it's a guy or a girl?
Yeah.
That to me really surprises me. Like, why do you have to know? Number one, why do you have to know if it's a male or female? Mm-hmm. And number two, especially in that situation where you can't see anything, they can't see anything.
Right.
And we would have not known who the person was had I not seen the shirt
cuff
he was wearing, the shirt cuff. And it was like, from then on, when we saw him outside, you know, I'm whispering to you and Mrs. Rogers, like, oh, that's the dude, you know, because I recognized the cuff. Mm-hmm. And would have never known if he'd not done anything. He wouldn't have known who we were. We wouldn't have known who he was, and that's sort of the point of the glory hole.
That's the point of it, yeah.
But by being able to see it was me, and then sort of having a freak out moment about it, mm-hmm. he made it very obvious as to who he was. Which that was like, that's sort of funny. But that made me sad. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Fuck, I don't care.
I will say, though, that just because we knew who that was, I kept an eye on him throughout the night. You know, like if I saw him in passing and whatnot, he did seem a lot more comfortable towards the end of the evening. And I don't know if that's because he'd been around, just kind of around the club a bit more and seen what was going on.
Maybe.
Or if it was just alcohol. I mean, it could be either or both.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah. But I did keep an eye just to see, like, was he tense about it the rest of the night, but no, he wasn't. So
it's just it is funny. It cracks me up. And I know we talked to Lawrence and Jess about it, and they were both like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" I know. I think even Lawrence was like, "Man, if I'm getting a blowjob at that point, I don't fucking care."
Yeah.
And right. Yeah, so afterwards we left there and went downstairs because, number one, that little bathroom with three of us in there was starting to get
it got a little
sweltering.
Warm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was melting
mm-hmm.
a little bit. And so we went downstairs and got us some refreshments.
Yes.
And I don't remember what we did at that point. And we kept talking to a bunch of people. I mean,
I know we wandered around and talked to people for a while. And then at some point, we wandered up to the big orgy room.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Yeah. I don't remember really playing much before that.
I don't either, but I know we talked a lot. We did a lot of socializing and, mm-hmm. you know, trying to trying to play the good host and make sure everybody was having fun and everybody had what they needed.
And I know we introduced a few people, to one another as well.
Yeah, matchmaker, make me a match. So that was fun. And then we went up to the big orgy room because you wanted to play. And it's kind of funny because there was a couple of guys that, well, we knew another one.
There was one guy, well, there was a couple that went up with us.
Yes.
And
yes.
And I think there was a single guy as well that kind of came up at that point.
I think so. So there was a couple that, we've been to OSS to before and I should say, and didn't play with them. We've known them for a while and we like them. It's just that
situation hasn't
situational
worked
and
out,
I have mental problems sometimes and I'm like, I don't feel like playing with anybody other than Mrs. Adam or myself. And sometimes it's just not in me to play. But so they came up with us, or we followed them up, one or another. And then it was another single guy that we had met, a year and a half ago. And like when we first moved down here, we met him and had drinks with him and really liked him. And then as you do, you just sort of drifted apart and we ended up ghosting one another. Yeah. But he happened to be there. And so we went upstairs and there was maybe 5 people already up there playing.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't recall exactly.
There were already some people on the bed.
Yeah.
So we got in on one side of the bed. And I don't know how it all came about, but I know a couple other single guys came up.
Yeah.
And somehow it ended up with Mr. Adam laying on the bed.
Yeah.
You had someone's cock in your mouth.
Yeah.
Someone was going down on you.
Yeah.
Both were males. So you, of course, had a male cock in your mouth. And a male was going down on you.
Yeah.
You had another cock in your left hand.
Yeah.
You were fingering me with your right hand.
Yeah.
And then I was going down on one of the guys.
The guy that was going down on me.
Okay.
So we had M, 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 F.
Yeah. Follow that one.
Or as I like to call it,
But it was awesome.
Yeah. No, it was good. Yeah. It was, awesome. Yeah. And at that time, there was another guy waiting to get in.
I was going to say,
as soon as there was going to be a free hand or something.
I think at some point, the one that I was going down on stopped going down on you, and then the other one jumped in there.
Maybe.
But I don't remember. It kind of became a blur at some point.
At that point, it became a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun, though.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome. Because I had never actually been in that kind of situation where it was a big group of guys playing. Because, I don't always trust myself, I trust myself. I don't always trust others in like the sauna situations,
right?
To have like big group play like that. But in this situation, it was, there was already a bunch of people on the bed, and and it
was clear that the people that were there were respectful.
Yeah, if you said no, they would stop.
Yeah. And so that is always really nice, is that you can, and you know that if somebody gets to a point where they need a break, that they'll tell you to stop as well.
Yes.
So it's again, just respecting, if I can
easy
talk.
for you to say, respecting
the boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite time of the whole night.
There is something really nice, because as well, I think the guy I was going down on was also fingering me.
Okay.
And so...
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, so there was like...
Yes.
Yeah.
You had like mega stimulation.
I know, right? I was that classic porn word, airtight. And yeah, it was... if you don't know what airtight is, feel free to message us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I know the guy that I was going down on, his partner was on one of the beds next to us with someone else.
With another single guy, yeah.
Yeah, with one of the other single guys. And so that was kind of hot, too, because I know he was, kind of watching her a little bit, and I was watching as well. I mean, it's just, the whole scenario is just a whole bunch of sexy people playing. I mean, how do you not enjoy that?
It really was that perfect puppy pile.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I really liked that, and look forward to doing something like that again.
And I think it really helped that with this pendulum party, you were a lot more relaxed than the first one.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helped you to be able to get into that mindset to play.
It's funny. I was a lot more relaxed, but at the same time, I don't think I came.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Because we got home and you were like, we need to have sex.
That's that's right. I do remember that now.
Like,
yeah,
I can't go, because we were both exhausted and you're like, I can't go to sleep yet.
And it's funny because I want to, but it's just that pressure of everything, like mentally.
Yeah.
I just could not get to that point of release until we got home, and then I was like, all right, you don't even have to enjoy this. I mean, it'll be nice if you do, but it's not paramount,
Yeah. It's not for you, it's for me.
It's not for you, it's for me. Yeah. So we got done up there, and kind of everybody sort of stumbled downstairs and got more drinks, and we talked a bit more. But it was, I think about that time, because that was after midnight that happened, I think we sort of started winding down and winding up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was the weekend, too, that Wine and Fun Times stayed with us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we... Oh, that's right, because... so that was Friday night. That's right. So was there anything else you wanted to talk about Pendulum?
No, other than there's going to be a third one in the next few months.
Yes, we're not allowed to say exactly when. If you want us to say when, message Our Secret Spot.
We'll set a date. We'll put it out there. We'll let everyone know. But
follow them on @OurSecretSpot on Twitter and tell them to release the dates for the Pendulum Party, fuckers.
But yeah, we'll do it again. We'll set dates and get that out there soon. And we'll hopefully have another fantastic night. It's just, each one has been really good in different ways, I feel like. And I'm really excited to see what the next one looks like. And I want some more girl action on the next one. Because this one I had a lot of boy action. But and I really enjoyed watching you with all the boys. That turns me on. It really does.
Well, the next one could be really super special because we may have some pegging stuff.
Oh, that's
so we're not allowed to talk about it because Our Secret Spot is restricting our. Don't restrict me. I feel like I'm being censored.
That's so funny. Nah, we'll get it out there. We'll give details closer to time
as soon as we can.
Yep.
I'm being censored. It kills me. So then the next night. Wine and Fun Times came, pun intended, and spent the weekend with us. And then on Saturday night, we went with them to the escape room.
Oh, yes.
Which was, okay, look, other podcasts have said it, and we, she and I both were like, I'm sure it's great. Sure, it's a lot of fun, whatever. But the escape room is the perfect date for swingers. You're trapped with a couple for at least an hour or about an hour, and you are forced to work together. Yeah. And if you can work together and solve problems, number one, you feel great about each other. Yeah. It's like pulling you together. It's a great like bonding moment. Plus, it's really kind of hot. You're working with each person, really.
Yeah. And you can make it as intimate or not as you want.
Yeah. And,
I would at least suggest having drinks with the couple or the person before doing this.
You don't want to be thrown into it.
Yeah, you don't. You want to know something about them and know that you're going to be able to stand an hour in a room with them. True. So I wouldn't make it like your first date, but it's a great second date as a real, intense date that you're going to spend time together. Yeah. But not just a drinks catch up type thing.
And I think it would be great as a second date, but before the first play.
Yeah.
Because again, like with us and them, there was a lot of there's a little bit of intimacy at times, and then there's times where you have to pair off into couples, and it's not always you and I didn't always pair off. Right. Sometimes she and I, and sometimes he and I paired off, and that was okay. Yeah. But it forces you to work together, and that intimacy is kind of nice. But we did one of the escape rooms here in Sydney. Mm-hmm. We made it out in 69 minutes. It's amazing. Like that number just follows us around no matter where we go. Our goal was under 60 minutes, but fuck them.
Whatever. I'm happy with 69. And we made it. And we made it out. We didn't have to stay the night there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
And then we got back here. I don't remember what happened. I don't think
we had pizza and we watched Playboy TV.
That's right. We didn't even play that night. That's right. Because we had so much sex on Friday night. Yeah. And then we had all this Saturday.
There was a little bit on Saturday before. We ordered
like a million pizzas. Yeah. And then we all sat on the couch and watched Playboy TV, the four of us. Yep. We watched a ton of Playboy TV.
Yeah. Then the next morning
started passing out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sunday morning we got up and we played with them then.
Yeah.
So.
And that was fun because that was like, that was awesome. Yeah. It was one of those moments where
I like sexy friends.
In hindsight, I feel guilty because I was getting one of the most amazing blowjobs, and in my reaction to it is I'm grabbing whatever I can grab, and it happened to be his chest.
Oh, that's right.
Because he was laying perpendicular to me on the floor, and you were going down on him, and I'm like, he had just came and was starting to get that post-coital relaxation, and then she's like, I'm like at a 9.5 out of 10, and so I start reacting by grasping whatever is close to me, and it happened to be his chest, and I may have, like, I don't know.
Well, it was funny because you were grasping, but at the same time you were sort of twisting a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately he was okay with it.
Yeah.
But I could see him kind of, his upper body kind of pulling up and like trying to follow closer to you. So I was like, Bradford, hand down.
I felt bad. Yeah, but it was great. It was awesome. Snap. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then sadly they had to go home. Oh,
Yeah.
sad face.
Yeah, that's all right.
We miss them already.
There'll be other times.
They need to come back. Come back. So that was a wrap up of the Pendulum weekend.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Like a lady. Like lady? Yeah.
Not like Lolo lady, but another lady.
Like an actual lady.
A female, yes.
A female, yes. Yes, fuck you people.
So Mr. Adam met this female on Tinder.
Lady.
Yes. And so tell me about the lead up. So when you met her on Tinder, the lead up to actually meeting in person.
Okay. So one of the things I really liked about her was her Tinder profile is delightfully vague. But one of the things that really caught me was the phrase sweet, sassy, bit of a lush. And I was like, oh, I like that. That sounds like my kind of people. And so we chatted a bit on Tinder, and I'm very clear in my profile that I'm in a non-monogamous relationship, ethically non-monogamous relationship. And I brought that up to her as well, and she goes, "That's okay. I'm poly. So that works." I'm like, "Awesome, cool." And so we chatted a bit on Kik. We chatted a bit on Tinder. We moved it to Kik, and then when we decided we were actually going to meet somewhere, we text, but we still Kik is our main communication. The only reason we have each other's phone numbers was trying to figure out exactly where we were in this gigantic bar that we met in.
Oh, yeah.
Because our first date was at the Oaks, which you always forget how big that bar is. It's like half a city block.
And it's a little bit of a maze,
It
too.
is. It's like, okay, it's a complete rabbit warren. Anyway, so
that's when you need a glimpse.
I know, right? But even then, it'd be like, I don't know. So we met there because we decided we were going to play. She only had an hour, so we were going to play some pool. And because I think personally,
it's a great icebreaker.
It's a great icebreaker. Yeah. You know, it allows you to forces you to be both quiet and communicative at the same time. And plus, it really shows off body.
Yeah. Because
you're constantly leaning over. You know, guys can do the muscle shoulder thing, and girls can do the dainty bending over thing, and you can help line up the shot, and lots of puns about balls and sticks and putting things in the hole. Yeah, I mean, so it's great. It's perfect. So we grabbed a bottle of wine, and she wouldn't let me pay. She bought the bottle of wine. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm good with this. We went upstairs, found a pool table, and started playing pool. And immediately she was like, I'm terrible at this. And she wasn't wrong.
And then she kicked your ass?
No,
Okay. No.
She was terrible. Because I was in one of those, like, you know how pool and bowling is a lot alike. You'll have that moment where for a brief period of time, you look like a professional. Like, literally, we played twice. I broke both times, and both times I sunk at least one ball.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty bad, though, when I'm like, oh my God, did you see that? It went in the hole. So that's impressive. But we played, and it was one of those, you could tell that the tension was getting fuller and fuller. And finally, I did something that is completely unlike me. I just sort of grabbed her and kissed her. But then as soon as I was done kissing her, I just kind of walked away and like nothing happened, and then continued on with my shot. Which apparently that went over really well.
Well done.
I know. It's so unlike me.
You're getting bolder.
I am getting so much bolder, and I don't really know why, but I do like it. It's kind of fun to be grr. So yeah, and then after the kissing ice had been broken, we did that a lot. And then after playing a couple games, we went and sat down to finish the bottle of wine, and then proceeded. She had to go. Or was supposed to be going, and I kept saying, "Hey, you've got to go. I don't want to keep you from your friends." And she's like, "No, it's okay, it's okay." And I'm starting to feel like an asshole here. No, it's okay. And then we kissed for another 5-10 minutes, and then I walked her to the restaurant where she was meeting her friends. So that was date number 1.
And was followed not too long after by date number 2.
Yes, in which she invited me over to her place so she could cook for me. She made this wonderful chicken that was wrapped in prosciutto and with steamed green beans and asparagus. And this like homemade gravy. It was amazing. We sat down for dinner, and she had a bottle of sparkling open. And while she's cooking again, because I was sitting down watching her cook, which is also very difficult for me because I like to cook. And I'm like, "Can I help? No. Can I help? No." I think that conversation happened like 4 or 5 times. And then again, I got up, there was a break, and she was leaning against the counter. I got up, I pinned her against the counter, and full body against her, and kissed her. And then again, kind of let go. And every time I do this, she's got this look of like, "Whoa, what just happened here?" kind of look.
A little bit of a surprise.
A little bit of surprise, but clearly there was that sexual tension, which is nice. And yeah, so then we sat down and had a nice dinner. She opened a really beautiful bottle of wine. And then after dinner, we moved to the couch and we're talking. And one thing led to another, ... Basically, I'm going to blame me because I felt like I couldn't keep my hands off of her. But I think it was clearly symbiotic kind of thing. And we were making out, and my shirt, of course, I'm wearing the white Snaps shirt that constant listeners will know. That's my, "Hey, I want to get lucky" shirt. Excuse me.
Well, anything with Snaps is good.
I know, right? Because it's easy access.
And you just rip it off.
And I will say as a side note, things that you notice and looking back that I remember, she's one of those girls that always has pantyhose on. Or at least thigh highs or something, stockings on. And so, you're rubbing your hand up her legs, and it's like it's got that there's that textile feel, and there's something really erotic and sexy about that I don't always think about that, but with her, it's like definitely I think about that. And so, yeah, I stood up and kind of took my shirt off, ripped my shirt off. And with her sitting on the couch looking up at me, and I thought, let's see. And so I kind of ran my hands through my hair. Side note, been going to the gym now since January. It's currently June. And I'm starting to get really happy with my chest and shoulders. And I don't even think about it now, but when I run my hands through my hair, it flexes every muscle that I've been working out for the last 5.5 months. And she went... I thought to myself,
that's a good ego boost.
And this is why I go to the gym. So yeah, it's definitely one of those people that when we kiss, we both sort of adapt to each other's style, which is important. And yeah, we were getting extremely handsy at that point. And then, gosh, I don't even remember the move, but somehow we made it into her bedroom. And then, yeah, the next thing... Oh, so I should say before. So that's right. On the walk to the bedroom, she stood up and, had her hands on my chest and was undoing my pants. And I was like, oh, I got to take the insulin pump off. She's like, oh, that's okay. We had a quick talk about the insulin pump. It was, again, I make more big of a deal out of it than any other partners make out of it.
Most people don't care, yeah.
And and then I pull out the trusty cock ring. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Oh, what's that?" I went, "Oh, it's a cock ring." And she goes, "Why is that?" I said, "Sometimes I get performance anxiety and blah, 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 blah." And she took it from me and goes, "You don't need this." And I will say, for a brief moment, I sort of felt like Linus and somebody taking my binky away.
It's your security.
Yeah, it was my security blanket. Because I'm like, that's my security blanket. What if I can't perform? What if I can't make you happy? What if I can't? And she's like, and I sort of started down that line of freaking out. And then, she kind of kissed me. And she's like, "This is just fun." I was like, "Okay, it's just fun. It's just fun. It's just fun." And so we went in there, and I did what I absolutely love, which is go down on somebody for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I will say, she is extremely verbal. She does a lot of dirty talk, but it all makes sense. It's all very comfortable. It's all like, it's easy. And this is what I want, and this is what I want to do.
Yeah. And
then a lot of, what do you want? And you can do whatever you want to me. And all these really arousing, like, woof. And so then we, she was like, "What do you want?" And I thought, I always have trouble answering that question, because for me, what do I want? I want you to be happy. I know, but I want to do whatever you're going to enjoy. That's what I want to do. But uncharacteristically for me, I said, "I want you to sit on my face." And she got this wicked smile, and she goes, "Excellent." And so she did. And then we 69 for a bit. Mm-hmm. And then, then she leapt off, grabbed a condom, and put it on with her mouth, which made me think of Sex Ed in the City. Mm-hmm. Like, this is great. And then, she got on, and it was, again, one of those great positions, because I think when I'm on the bottom, I can go forever.
That's true, yeah.
But I will say, we had a few moments where there was a couple of fear flashes, because a couple times I pulled out too far and then kind of hit her, which hurts us both.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was one of those, it's that first time, we're not really used to each other's bodies.
You're feeling it out.
I'm not as long as everybody, and then maybe I feel like I am, or I don't know. Anyway, I do know what sex feels like anyway. So, and gosh, I don't even remember. I think we made it through 3 positions in the first round. Mm-hmm. And then, you come and then you cuddle. And mm-hmm. then we talked a bit. And again, she understands that post-coital, post-sex dirty talk. And we talked for a little bit. And I think maybe 10 minutes later, I was going down on her again. And then we're side by side at 69. Thinking the next thing you know, we're having sex again. Doggy style, which was amazing. Mm-hmm. I think she's very pretty. She's a little taller than I am, but that's still I think that's really hot. And then after time 2, we took another break, and we got into the living room, or the seating area, whatever, opened another bottle of wine, started chatting a little bit. Next thing you know, she gets up and she's playing with the music, and she bends over to play with the music. I mean, she's naked, so she's right. I mean, it's one of those delightful, love how women do this, how they know their own body and they're moving to show it off. Mm-hmm. And so as she's bending over playing with the music, I just basically grabbed her ass and started going down on her again, or up on her, or side on her. I don't know. And next thing you know, I kind of pushed her onto the bed, and we were at it for a third time. And it was great. And again, though, there was one of those moments where I pulled out too far, and then I kind of hit her, and both of us were in pain. I'm like, "Oh my God." But then we finished anyway.
Can't let a little thing like that stop you.
It was very obvious that it was our first time together, so because we were still learning each other's bodies. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of sex that went on in that night. But yeah, I mean, in 2 hours of sex, I came 3 times. We had a little bit of toy play for her. Mm-hmm. There was that odd moment where I had her at orgasm. She was like, no, I don't want to come yet. So I don't know if we haven't communicated about this, because admittedly I forgot because of 3 bottles of wine, and it was late, if she's a one and done kind of girl or not. But yeah, it was very enjoyable. It was very enjoyable. So yeah, we And then after that, I ended up, we laid there for a little while longer, and I was like, all right, it is late. I got to go home. So I left. And that was date number 2.
Do you want to move on to date number 3?
Sure.
So how much time was there between date number 2 and date number 3?
10 days,
Okay.
maybe. Feels like it. Maybe less. Maybe a week. Because we had tried to, between date number 1 and current time, and date number 2, I should say, we were trying to come up with a time where she could come over here and meet you, because she's also, like us, 100% bi. She's really into women. She wants a woman that she can play with. I've shown her pictures of you, and she's like, oh my God, she's perfect, kind of thing. So we set a time for this coming week, and I was like, honestly though, I'd like to see you before then. That's too long for me to wait. And she was like, okay, when do you want to see me? I was like, can you do this night? And she's like, yeah, but it can't be late. I'm like, all right, cool. So that was perfect. And so that was this past date that we had, which was date number 3, which both of us had dinner out, and then we met for a drink. So we had a bottle of wine at a little bar, and then walked to her place. And it's one of those things that she's like us. She's very touchy. So we held hands the whole walk. And, there's a lot of that kind of, kind of kitty stumble kind of thing, where you're walking and you're still learning the other person's walk, so you walk differently, and there's that occasionally you stumble, which I find immensely romantic. But we get back to her place and open another bottle of wine and are talking and playing a bit, and she is very much and I say this, and then I'll explain it because some people out there won't get what I mean. I think you will. She's very much a brat.
Okay.
So in brat play, much like kitten play and puppy play, you sort of take on this personality. And she's very much a brat in a, is it Veruca Salt? Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. I want it, and I want it now. And so what's fun about that is it makes me dominant in a way of not normally.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
not a dominant guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not a dominant in a BDSM, kind of way. But I'm very much a disciplinarian, and that's the way I've always been. Growing up with my parents running a daycare, I understand discipline. So she and I play very well on that. She's a brat, and I'm a disciplinarian. And she goes, I want it now. And you're going to have to wait. But I want, so it was a lot of that play.
Right.
And there was this really sexy moment where we were making out on the couch, and then she kind of went to undo my pants, and I said, not yet. And she kind of smacked the couch and went, but I want it. And then I got up and walked away from the couch and leaned against the counter. And she kind of pouted a second on the couch. And I said, if you want it, crawl over here. And she got off the couch and crawls across. I'm like, this is amazing. Because there are those moments where I don't know if everybody does this, but I definitely do. I'll have this scene that I play out in my head, and it never goes the way I imagine it, but occasionally it does. And when it does, then I'd go outside of my head even, and I start looking at the situation as it actively is.
Right.
And I'm like, holy shit, who are these people? Who is this guy? So I have this whole 15-minute external monologue that happens in about a second and a half, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so she crawls over and then kind of is on her knees in front of me. And I was like, yeah. It's like, I'll let you go down on me. And then she like ravenously pulls, my pants down a bit and starts going down on me. And after about 20 seconds, I kind of pushed her away. That's enough. And it was very much it was really, again, it's something that I'm not used to because you don't play that.
It gives you more control.
Yeah. You're the dominant, even when we play, if we play some kind of victim game, you're still dominant. I'm always the victim. But it was interesting for me to be in control. And I sort of like that brat play every once in a while. I'm not sure it's something I could do all the time, but I do enjoy it. So yeah, we went back into the bedroom, and gosh, I don't know. It all ends up being kind of a blur because there's a lot of talk. What do you want? I know at one point she's got this mirrors in her bedroom, of course, like we all do here in Sydney. Everybody has the same closet doors, I'm pretty sure. But I had her bent over and I was standing behind her. Our height is just off to be able to do that as well as you and I do that. Like you're shorter than me, so it's a lot easier. I get a lot of thrust into you.
Right.
But she's just a little taller, so her hips are a little higher up.
And the angle's a little different.
Yeah, so it's harder for me. I feel like I need to be stepping on something in order to get it perfectly.
Can you do it on your tippy toes? Or
I can, but you can only stand so long on your tippy toes.
Wear some heels.
Get me some kinky boots. She'd probably like that. And then pushed her down, finished off, and then we cuddled for a bit. And then we were talking, and she's like, I really like bisexual guys. I really like bisexual guys. It's like, what is it? I'm like, I want to understand what it is. She's like, you guys are comfortable. You know your bodies. You're willing to learn my body. You're patient. And I'm like, is that true of all bisexual guys, or is that? So I'm curious, and I need to figure out if that's true of all bisexual guys, or if there are, both. There has to be both gay men and straight men that are also comfortable with that.
It could also be the types of people that she seeks out as well. Because if there's someone that's not going to do that for her, she's not going to seek them out more than likely. Unless it's just a one-time thing, but not for something routine.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I have a hard time with generalizations like that.
It's tough, yeah.
To say...
But I get it because
all or none. Yeah.
Because that's one of the reasons I like gay men is because again they tend to be a little more receptive, emotional, and stuff like that. But again, I think it's that straight men are that way. They just feel bottled up by societal pressure that they're not allowed to be that way. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. But yeah, so we started making out again, and I, again, did something that I know I've never done like the whole thing, but I straddled her chest and she held her breasts together and started fucking her breasts. And then it was one of those, this is the sex that we're having. And then I came all over her neck and chest, which I had never done that from like, we've done it a little, like you and I have done it more than any other partners of mine, but we've never done it like from 0 to complete.
Right.
It's always been something that we've done on the way to something else. But I thought, it was back in that mentality of I'm going to use you. And it was amazing. It was great. It's so weird to...
You're discovering your dominant side.
I know. It's like, who is this guy? I kind of like him. He scares me, but it's more of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. I can be like, as soon as I enter her apartment, I become Mr. Hyde, and I'm like, which is so weird for me. It's such a mind fuck. And I've discussed it with Lolo Lady, and she just laughs at me, and she's like, oh my God, I love playing the brat. And I'm like, I've never been with a partner, period, male or female, that has played the brat.
Yeah.
And it's kind of awesome. It's can be a lot of work, but it's work that's worth it. It's work that she's not so much of a brat that she doesn't give you anything,
right?
But she's giving you just enough push so that you'll push back and take what you want. And it's really so weird for me. I love it. It's so much fun. And then so afterwards we ended up cuddling on the couch and talking a bit, and starting to get a little more open. She's asking a lot of questions about what our relationship, yours and mine, looks like, and talking about what does this relationship look like, which sort of leads into something that we can talk about. A listener asked us a question about what if I think my partner is falling in love with another partner, right? And so my response to that is, so for us, you and I do consider myself fully polyamorous. I can have multiple loves, and and multiple different types of loves. Because I love Lolo Lady. I have a love for her, but we don't have a sexual relationship. I've had sexual relationships that I don't really love, but I think that I can have sexual relationships where I love the partner. Like, I think of Blue Steel.
Right.
We've had a sexual relationship with him. I still love him. I think you still love him. And we've used the L word when talking. See you later, love you guys, love you too, blah, blah, blah. And it's sort of, I think it's difficult, but both partners, like for us, need to understand that. Because I don't think you're polyamorous.
No.
I think that you do love people or could love people, like, again, Blue Steel, but it took you a long time. I mean,
And it's not, in the, like you said, it's not in the same way either.
Yes. Well, I don't think it's in the same way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could ever love another person like I love you. But I think that's true of, like, my previous wife. I could never love anybody like I loved her.
Right.
So I think everybody sort of gets their own brand of love, and it's maybe a different intensity. But because for you and I feel like our love is at about a 9.5. Nothing's 10. There's never a 10. The only
never a
10.
10.
The only love I have that's a 10 is the love for me. The love I feel when I look in the mirror. But yeah. But I do think that I know that I can love other people, and because I love that. This is going to sound cushy as hell. I love the feeling of falling in love.
I love love.
I know, right? I bring you love. But yeah, I think it's important to understand that, and it's important to understand that about your partner.
Yeah.
So I guess my question along this line for you is, how does it feel for you, like for Blue Steel, or if something happens with me and this girl, if I start developing feelings for people, having developed feelings for people, or start developing feelings, how does it feel for you, and what advice would you give other people?
I'm probably a bad one to ask because I'm not an emotional person.
But you at least know what it feels like for you.
Yes, but for me it doesn't really matter because it doesn't change our relationship. It doesn't change my life. As long as you're happy with the relationship you have, whether that relationship is one of love or sex or intensity or whatever form that takes, if you're happy with that, then that's, I think, what matters.
Yeah. No, I think that's good advice. And I think that's good advice whether or not you're an emotional person or not. It doesn't, I think, you're taking the emotions out of it because you're not as emotional of a person, but B, you're still a person and you have emotions. So by saying that, you're sort of making it easier. I use the inverted commas or air quotes. But yeah, you still have those feelings. You just ignore them or you don't acknowledge them. Because again, you're still a human.
Yes.
And you still have emotions.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect me. Like I said, as long as you're happy,
right.
Which you're happy, again, no matter what form your other relationships take. It's almost like I don't see it any different than a work relationship. If you're getting along with people at work and you're happy with it, then that's fine. If you're having problems and then that comes home and affects us, well, then that's a problem.
Right.
So I think it's only when it's negative that I feel like it affects me. And then that's when we're going to have a discussion. But as long as it's positive, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. No, yeah. I still think, like I said, I think that's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I think it's a tough thing to navigate as long as both people in the parties or in the relationship aren't on the same page. You don't have to both be polyamorous,
right?
But the fact that being on the same page is having that communication to understand what your what your partner is feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to understand how your partner works in order, for all of this to work. And you may not work the same way they do, but as long as you can work it together, then that's what matters.
So from your point of view on this relationship, because I've tried to be, we've had issues before where you've claimed I shouldn't say that. You've stated.
It's the same thing. They're all the same thing.
Yeah, claim though seems like
claim,
I don't believe what you're
stated,
saying.
They're all.
Anyway, claim has a different connotation. Where you've said that you didn't think I was as verbal about the person. I wasn't telling you any information about it, about the relationship. But I'm just kind of curious as to your take on this relationship. Is there any information that you want to know, or is there any information that you don't want to know, or
No,
what?
I think you've given. I mean, you've been open about everything.
Yeah. So now the next step will be she's coming over this Friday to see how you two kind of, if there's sparks. Dun, dun, dun.
Should we get the matches ready?
Are we going to set fire to the place, or are we starting candles?
Let's not do that.
I should have burned this place to the ground when I had the option. She's excited to meet you. I think she's really nervous to meet you because I've described you as what you are, a tiny spitfire that can be sort of Terminator-ish.
That's not exactly how I would describe myself, but
come with me if you want to fuck. Are you Sarah Connor? Because you're kind of hot. That's the best Arnie I can do.
Is that what I sound like?
That's exactly what I hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's reality.
We'll have to play this podcast back so you can hear yourself. You'll learn.
I'll recognize myself when I hear it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Get to the chopper. Different movie. Same guy. Anyway. So she's excited to meet you.
No, I think it'll be good. Yeah.
I really think you guys will get along because you guys both have a lot in common. Mm-hmm. I think she's a little more emotional than you are, but both of you are fucking practical as hell and just practical and pragmatic, and that can be frustrating for me, which might be more frustrating when there's two of you, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it should be fun.
See if you can handle it.
I'm not sure I can handle it. All right. Is that all you got? Mm-hmm. Is that all you want?
I think we've covered a lot tonight.
We have.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to reach out and talk to us, you can email us. We are theatomsoflove@gmail.com. Follow us on the Twitterverse. We are at By the By Podcast. Also on Facebook, www.facebook.com/bythebybpodcast. And our website is www.bytheby.com.au. If you want to do something nice for somebody, but are too lazy to actually go out and do something actually nice for somebody, you can do something nice for us and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us, Pocket Casts. Give us a review. We'd really appreciate it, and it helps get us out there to other people.
Yep.
And if you don't want to do that, just tell other people. Say, hey, we found this new podcast about these crazy fucked up people who like to talk about sex. Yeah, we'd greatly appreciate it. So, we'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, thanks for listening.